Across the nation, the health of Irish families is in decline. In this series, 6 households in desperate need of a health overhaul go under the microscope and open their doors to the scrutiny of a team of medical experts. Dr. Sinead Byrne's mission is to reverse the steady decline of the nation's health.
We can reduce the incidence of chronic diseases with prevention, and that starts in the home.
Fitness guru Professor Niall Moyna is on a crusade to get the country moving.
Unless we radically transform the lifestyle of our children, they are going to be the first generation that will not outlive their parents.
Dr. Nina Burns is a passionate advocate of families taking control of their well-being.
We don't need doctors to keep us well. We need a healthy lifestyle.
And nutritionist Daniel Davey wants to change the way we think about food.
You can't underestimate the value of eating good food.
A week of scanning and screening will reveal what's really going on.
If that got worse, it could precipitate a heart attack.
And the cold, hard facts will come out in the consultation room.
You have type 2 diabetes.
They'll have 8 weeks to turn their lives around. The households are facing the challenge of a lifetime.
Just didn't think it was that bad.
All whilst under the glare of a doctor in the house. Under medical supervision this week are the Currans from Newbridge, County Kildare. Danny is 36, Aoife 35, and children Jack 14, Jessica 9, Grace 5, and Emily 2. This busy family are typical of parents under pressure, applying quick fixes which have led to bad habits.
Look at that. Not a bother climbing up there. I mean, there's no control over that, though. That is just really bad habits.
I just say yes too much. You know, like I'm with 4 kids, it's so busy. Can I have a lollipop? Okay, grand.
And it's not just sweets Aoife doesn't say no to.
Screens.
All the kids.
Yeah.
All on a screen, every one of them.
Having served in the army for 9 years, Danny now works for a humanitarian charity.
Compared to my previous life as a soldier, I've gone from being always a very active person to very, very, very little activity.
He was in the army, so it would be very interesting to see what his fitness levels are.
Can I get an order for delivery, please?
We would always have takeaways this weekend. And like on a bad weekend, we could even have them 2 days in a row.
Eating takeaways isn't their only vice.
About 15 a day, I'd say I smoke.
My asthma isn't great, and I'm so ashamed to say that I smoke when I have asthma.
I've been smoking from the age of, I think, 17, and I have to admit, I enjoy smoking. I've tried different ways of quitting smoking in the past, but there was always, I suppose, lack of willpower. So I have quit, and unfortunately went back smoking again.
For the kids as well, it's not nice when 2 parents are smoking.
And didn't she say she has asthma?
Yeah. It just defies logic, doesn't it?
When Emily was born, she was very, very sick. She was in ICU for a number of weeks. At that time, before that, we were off the cigarettes.
Basically, Emily's lungs didn't work. We were told they didn't really think there was much hope for her to pull through. And we nearly lost her a couple of times.
When we got the news about Emily and she was so sick and that she might not live, that's when I started smoking again.
Both Aoife and Danny have smoked since that traumatic event and found it impossible to quit.
My kids ask me every day to quit smoking. You know, they hate it, like. And I keep saying, soon. You know, soon.
They're a relatively young couple, young family. And these health behaviours are extremely poor.
I think it's really aging them nearly as parents, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is after they've been eating.
Me and him would sit down then when the kids are in bed, have a chat, watch a bit of TV, and then the munchies come out. What comes out in the evening would be Coke, crisps, and a bar of chocolate usually. So that would be every evening.
And this is just passive binge eating.
Yeah.
It seems to be one thing after another, though.
Between the smoking, sedentary lifestyle, poor diet.
I don't feel like I'm going to get away with it forever. So it's not as if the alarm bells aren't ringing for me, you know. I need to be here for my kids. If I don't look after myself, it's only going to go one way.
Hi, Danny.
Now Now it's time for our experts to meet the family to find out more about their medical history and investigate where they're going wrong over a 7-day health assessment.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
The Currans' daily habits will be monitored, and this information, combined with a range of tests and examinations, will reveal the truth about their health.
So have you any medical problems you're aware of?
Yeah, undirected thyroid and I have asthma.
And you're on regular inhalers for that, obviously?
Yeah, I'm on 2 different types of inhalers.
Okay. And how often do you need to use your Ventolin?
I use it every day.
She uses her inhalers a lot. I mean, if you're using your Ventolin more than twice a week, your asthma is not controlled, and she has been using it daily for months. You smoke about 20 a day, don't you?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
How many years have you smoked 20 a day for?
About 20 years.
Okay. No problems with chest pain or shortness of breath or wheeze?
Shortness of breath at times, yeah.
He's been smoking since he was 17, 20 a day, so that's a very significant smoking history, so obviously I will be interested to see his chest x-ray.
Nina is accompanying Danny on his daily commute to see how his bad habits have become part of his routine.
So you would normally smoke in the car on the way to work?
Mm-hmm.
So his commute to Dublin is 2 hours each way every day, which is a long time sitting in a car. And he said that he smokes probably 3 or 4 cigarettes each way, so it's about 8 cigarettes.
To break up the long journey, Danny usually buys breakfast on his way to work.
So in his coffee he puts 3 sugars, and if we're figuring he's drinking between 10 and 13 coffees a day, that's an awful lot of sugar, really mindless calories. You know, there's no nutritional value in that whatsoever, and it's sugar he does not need. What's your pastry of choice?
The pecan.
How are you?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you? And 20 purple, please.
Not a bother. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's see this thing.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, bye.
The week of observations continues, with Dr. Sinead carrying out medicals on the children.
She's a really good girl, isn't she?
Great, isn't it?
Big breath in. Very good. Big ah. Okay, that's fine.
During Grace's examination, Emily decides it's snack time.
Oh my golly, what are they? Emily is a gorgeous little girl, 2.5 years of age. I mean, I think she kind of gave the game away and came in with a massive big, you know, multi-pack of crisps, and she seems to be very aware of where treats are kept at home.
It's day 3 of the Currans' health screening, and nutritionist Daniel pays a visit to get a clear picture of their eating habits.
Fussy?
Oh, fussy eaters, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to see, can we change that?
Yeah.
So is it just butter that goes into these rolls? Or
Yeah, most of the time.
Oh, Jack ever something like a roll when he comes in as well?
That's where I fall very short. Jack kind of looks after himself at that time of
that's
day.
not a bad thing.
Jack's after-school snack is also white bread, with chocolate spread.
Okay. Guinea pigs? You've got guinea pigs?
And they eat better than us sometimes, don't they? Yeah. They eat loads of bread.
Okay. You've got some eggs and some lean meats, and there are vegetables in there, which I'm happy to see.
Can I make a confession? Some of the vegetables are for the guinea pigs. So the lettuce leaves, I suppose, would be. They may get some of the carrots.
Okay.
I don't like peppers.
You don't like peppers?
No.
And you're going to have some peppers now?
No.
No.
Guinea pigs like peppers.
Guinea pigs like peppers?
Yeah.
After dinner, Daniel observes Aoife's evening routine.
So this is Aoife time?
Yeah, this is post-dinner chaos me time. Just take a minute.
Aoife is worried about the impact her bad habits will have on her health.
Before, it was always, I'm uncomfortable how I look, I'm uncomfortable in my clothes. But the bigger issue that keeps me awake at night is, I'm going to get cancer. I'm not going to get away with this. Something's going to happen and I'm going to look back and say, why didn't I? So I'm more scared of my future.
It's very obvious to me, this is a very loving family, and Aoife and Danny are fantastic parents. I think that they need a little bit of tough love with their children. So the kids always know there's going to be treats in there if they want one.
Yeah.
I do think that they don't appreciate the importance of showing the right type of example. So if they want their children to be healthy and live long lives and not pick up these habits, the first thing they need to do is take responsibility for their own decisions.
Coming up, the Currans are pushed to their limits. There's a worrying development for Danny.
You're starting a path of irreversible lung damage.
And Aoife receives some upsetting news.
I feel very responsible.
No,
I just feel like a failure.
This week, the Currans from County Kildare are under observation and the experts have been assessing their every move. Danny and Aoife's lifestyle choices are setting a poor example to their children. The Currans' week-long observations by the experts continues, with Sinead accompanying Danny to work.
I don't know how Danny is still smoking 20 a day and actually getting up and down these stairs, because that has to be getting harder and harder on him.
So we came on the ground floor, but we have a basement floor. So that's where our lunch, teas and coffees are. So coming from the basement up this floor is actually even harder. And it's kind of the longer I'm smoking and the older I'm getting, the harder I find the stairs.
Yeah. He's clearly breathless after a couple of flights of stairs. So for a man of his age, mid-30s, I think it shows that things are taking its toll a little bit. I'm not sure what his fitness result is going to be like, but my impression is it may not be great.
As the week comes to a close, the Currans are called to Professor Niall Moyna's lab for a full fitness assessment.
I try to psych myself up a little bit, but I'm definitely nervous.
Going back maybe about 15 years ago when I was in the army, I would have been very fit. Would have ran 10 kilometres and hardly broke a sweat. But now my fitness level is at an all-time low.
Height and weight measurements are taken to calculate their body mass index.
Big deep breath in.
Professor Niall carries out pulmonary function tests, as he's concerned that years of smoking have damaged Aoife and Danny's lungs.
You're nearly there. That's it.
DEXA scans are carried out to analyse body composition.
The DEXA machine measures the amount of fat and then the amount of muscle. So we're able to calculate the total amount of fat in our overall body.
VO2 max tests are performed to assess their overall fitness.
You get a max heart rate as well. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me 30 seconds.
Ex-military man Danny is pushed to his limits.
4, 3, 2, 1. You grab on there. Danny was very fit in the past. Although he put a huge effort in today, I think he will be a little bit disappointed with the results. What got you in the end? Your breathing or your legs or everything?
No breathing. I could. Just felt like it just wasn't getting in. Right. Unfair.
Right with the arms up that hill, Jack.
But not everyone finds it difficult.
That was good work. Come on, Jack. That's good, Jack. Let's finish it out. Okay, grab on. Okay. Max heart rate. Give me your best effort all the way to the end now. All the way to the end. All the way. You can't go any longer. I want you to grab the bar, but give me your best effort now.
Because of an old hip injury, Niall has recommended Aoife walks on an incline on the treadmill.
Aoife is relatively inactive. She's carrying excess body weight and she also has asthma. So, look, I won't be surprised, that if her results are well below what would be expected for someone her age.
It was tough. It's not a nice feeling. So my breathing's a bit tight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, see my chest a bit tight.
Dr. Sinead has organised chest x-rays for Aoife and Danny to see if years of smoking have damaged their lungs.
A bit nervous about it. I hope it is clear. I'm sure there's been a bit of damage done to my lungs over the years, but I'm fingers crossed it's not too much.
Danny has a 20-year history of smoking 20 cigarettes a day, and Aoife similarly smokes 15 a day.
Take a big deep breath in and hold your breath.
I think most people are the same. When people smoke, particularly if you're young, you kind of think you're going to live forever. But we're seeing COPD in people in their 20s now. So anyone who's smoking heavily, it does damage. So that's a bit scary, I think, for any smoker to get a check like that, because I think in the back of the mind they are worried that they're doing themselves damage.
Sinead wants to learn more about the impact Aoife's weight and unhealthy lifestyle is having on her internal organs, so has ordered an abdominal ultrasound.
to breathe on.
After a week of observations and tests, the results are in. The Currans have been summoned to the consultation room.
I'm most concerned about my weight and my lungs.
It's the smoking, the one that I'm most concerned about, and the results from those tests. I hope I haven't done too much damage to my lungs over the years.
Dr. Sinead starts with the results of Danny's hospital tests.
Danny, you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, and because of that, we decided to send you for a chest x-ray. And on that chest x-ray, there were some early changes noted. So some bronchial wall thickening. So it's not completely clear at the chest x-ray. There are early changes there that are irreversible. So I think you should take that as a warning that you're starting a path of irreversible lung damage, and that should be a reason for you to quit.
Wake-up call. I know out of this whole thing, the toughest part of it probably will be to quit smoking, but I want to see my kids growing up. I don't want to be attached to an oxygen cylinder when I'm older, so I will be quitting.
Danny, you need to prioritize your nutrition. If we were to look at the calorie surplus that you have, it's between 3,500 calories over the course of a week between the sugars in your coffee, the crisps in the evening, and this has just become the norm.
Danny, your body weight was 84 kilos. Your BMI is 32. Now that classifies you as obese. You know, with your BMI, your fat, your smoking, and low fitness level, you are now increasing your risk for cardiovascular disease. And it's occurring very rapidly.
Yeah.
And that isn't the end of the bad news.
Aoife and Danny, we tested the whole family, including the children. So, look, the good news is that Jessica and Grace, their bloods were quite acceptable.
That's great.
But Jack, however, he actually is very significantly iron deficient. He's almost anemic, in fact. At the levels we were seeing with the iron stores, they were quite low. The actual iron level was quite low. You know, even in school, concentration, performance in sport, very much would be affected. I'd be surprised if he wasn't feeling quite tired a lot of the time. So he is at a big disadvantage at the moment. And obviously he needs a radical overhaul of his diet.
I feel very responsible.
No,
I just feel like a failure to him.
Now, the other thing that concerned me was your liver function tests. The fact that you're carrying that bit of weight, we did an ultrasound of your abdomen, particularly looking at the liver. What jumped out really on the day was fatty liver. You absolutely have fatty liver. You know, it's not mild, it's fairly established, the fatty liver.
Can a fatty liver be reversed?
Yeah, that's what I was just about.
Yeah, so yes, it can. I think you're really lucky you have youth on your side.
Yeah.
So Aoife, the other thing we did was a chest x-ray. Your lungs were clear, which is good news.
Great.
And the other thing that I have had a really, really hard time trying to get my head around is how somebody with asthma, who feels the effects of their asthma on a daily basis, can smoke.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'd say it out loud. What a stupid thing to do. And they're just gone. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Aoife, your body weight is 96 kilos. You can see that your BMI is 37. Now that classifies you as obese. Your fitness ranks you in the bottom 20% for your age. Now I want you to really think about this. You're 35 years of age. You have all of these other health risks, and I think you are on borrowed time.
With Aoife and Danny's results revealed, the children joined them in the consultation room.
Jack, we did a number of tests on you, and in particularly the treadmill test. You did extremely well. In fact, your results were at a superior level, and you couldn't be much fitter. And I want you now to be the role model for the rest of them now, okay? So they all adopt a healthy lifestyle, and they're going to leave you in charge of that. You think you'd be able to manage that, yeah? Yeah. Very good.
Jack, there's a bit of work to do on the nutrition side for you and for the whole family, And like Niall said, you have to be a leader in this.
Yeah.
So you have to really push good eating habits with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
Grace, Emily, Jessica, everybody in the family has to start eating a little bit more fruit and vegetables. What do you think? Can you make a little bit of effort with that?
Yep.
Great. Aoife and Danny, if you are making good food choices and you are eating healthy, the whole family are far more likely to eat healthy.
You're both relatively young, and it is extremely important, just not for you, but for your family as well, that you start now adopting healthy behaviours that can be sustained in the long term.
They actually find out that there's the start of lung damage is quite frightening. So that's I think the kick up the backside I needed.
They are going to have to commit to this. It's not going to be easy, but it is absolutely essential they do it.
I think the older two are going to be fine, and with the younger two, we're going to have a war in our house.
Coming up, we find out who in the family really has a problem with vegetables.
Artichokes, celery, no thanks. Broccoli, ugh.
Danny is struggling.
I love a cigarette right now.
And Emily's still looking for sweet treats.
No, you don't get chocolate on it. No, go on inside. Emily.
Aoife and Danny Curran have been given bad news about their health. Aoife has been diagnosed with fatty liver, and Danny has irreversible lung damage. To optimize their health, their doctor's orders are to lose 5 to 10% of their body weight, give up smoking, follow a nutrition and exercise plan, have family days out involving physical activity, and walk at least 10,000 steps a day. The Currans have received their doctor's orders.
Once a week, do physical activity as a family. Get rid of all the sweets and treats from your sweet cupboard. Big push to add more vegetables into children's dinners.
Potatoes, parsnips, sweets.
Danny needs some convincing.
The vegetables, artichokes, bleh. Celery, no thanks. Broccoli, ugh. Lettuce, okay. Mushrooms, no thanks. Asparagus, no.
Okay, well, you're going to have to try these things that you're saying you don't like.
Beans? Do you like beans?
I love beans.
Really?
Beans? I love beans.
Mixed vegetables, chicken curry.
I love chicken curry.
Chicken. Eggs? You like eggs, look. With
It seems that the kids are more open to the new food plan than Danny.
Okay.
No.
It's out with all the treats, and the children are happy to get involved.
Grace.
Dum, dum.
Oh, man.
The time comes for Danny and Aoife's final smoke together.
This is definitely going to be the toughest part for me. It was a big shock to find out that my lungs are already starting to become damaged through smoking. But I suppose I've been smoking for around 20 years, so it's obviously going to do damage. So it was probably naivety to think that it was going to be okay.
While Aoife's gone cold turkey, Danny's decided to use nicotine patches to help him quit. Danny has started to implement the doctor's orders with military precision.
He just calculated how much money we'd spend on cigarettes for about 3 weeks and put that money into gym equipment, and then we rented the treadmill.
Just so that we can bring the gym to home.
It's week 1, and Niall has sent fitness watches designed to track their every move.
Get motivated, get moving, get tracking.
Keen to up the step count, Danny gets on the treadmill. And the kids are off the screens and joining the parents in the gym. And Danny has his own personal trainer. It's week 2, and instead of driving, Aoife walks the kids home from school to up her step count. And it's all changed from white bread and butter sandwiches after school to fruit.
Grace is all about, as long as I have watermelon in a container in the fridge, it's the first thing she'll go for, it's the first thing she'll ask for. That's her treat that she sees as a treat.
And Grace is not the only one. All the kids tuck into their healthy snacks. As an extra incentive, Aoife's drawn up a chart to encourage the kids to increase their fruit and veg intake. It's not just the guinea pigs eating peppers now. Although Aoife sees savings from giving up cigarettes, she still misses them.
Food's been easier. Cigarettes have been really, really tough. So I try and keep active, because when I sit down and I don't replace it with anything, I could be chewing my nails off.
Aoife's exercise buddy, youngest child Emily, is on hand to keep her company.
Food for us before was never anything other than quick and fast, and we have to eat because we're hungry, because we have to go to training or violin or whatever it may be. And now it's become much more important that we actually take enough time to have a proper meal together.
Concerned that Jack was developing anemia, Aoife has included foods rich in iron and vitamin C at dinner time. She also realises her children weren't fussy eaters after all.
I'm actually shocked at how good the kids are at it. I wouldn't have served them so much before, half thinking they wouldn't eat them, half thinking I've got too much of a battle on my hands here and I haven't got time for a battle on my hands. And they just, within a week, like, they were flying. Like, Emily wouldn't bat an eyelid now with broccoli or cauliflower or peas, and Grace is the same.
Even Danny, who wasn't a fan of vegetables, tucks in. It's week 3, and enthusiasm for healthy eating is beginning to wear off.
We're at the zoo, and it is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So we went to the zoo today, and we got a salad. So no birthday cake, but it's a birthday salad.
The Curran family have made huge changes to their diet, but youngest child Emily still misses the treat cupboard.
Yeah, it's looking quite bare, to be honest. Yeah. No. I'll get. Oh. No chocolate. I'll get you rice cake. No, you don't get chocolate on it. No, go on inside. Emily, inside. Good girl. No more rice cake. Go on inside. We get chocolate rice cakes on a Sunday, so she's giving out to me now. There's no chocolate on the rice cake. She seems to be the one fighting against it the most, but you know, they're kids, and I do want them to still be able to have a treat now and then, but the fact that it's not in the house is brilliant.
And Emily's not the only one missing things. Aoife is also struggling to kick old habits.
I'll be honest, I miss smoking. I completely underestimated how hard it would be for me. I'm really happy that I've quit, but I do still crave it.
It's the weekend, it's a Saturday. I'd love nothing more than to have a cigarette. I'd love a cigarette right now. I've got the patch on, but I'd still kill for a cigarette. I love a cigarette and just something nice.
Weeks in, and Danny's cravings are still causing him problems.
I've had to go up a level on the smoking patches, but I'm still finding it difficult. It is something to miss.
But there is some good news.
They never get any easier, but I find that I'm very much not as out of breath as I used to be. I'm kind of taking the stairs on as a bit of a challenge. Keep my step count up.
As Danny's fitness increases weekly, he spends more and more time on the treadmill at home. Niall is concerned Danny will lose interest quickly, so he pays a house call to offer some exercise alternatives.
I think he's doing the same exercises every day, and that can become very repetitive. So look, I'm going to have a chat with him and see can we add a little bit of variety to his workouts, and hopefully that'll get him over the little hump that he's at right now.
I'm just getting bored. Yeah. You know, I feel good doing it, feel good after it, but it's just I'm just doing it to have it done.
I think, you know, you have a long commute to and from work, and when you get home from work, maybe the last thing you want to do is hop on a treadmill. Maybe some evenings you might just put on your headphones and just go out the door and go for a 40-minute walk, 20 minutes out and 20 minutes back, just to give that variety. It's not about coming in and jumping on the treadmill every day either. Yeah. So I think that fresh air will also do you the world of good.
Yeah.
It's Jack's training night, and Niall sees another opportunity to exercise.
When Jack comes to train, the family often come with him, and they just stand around all evening. I mean, even though the kids are here with a little bit of planning, they could get easily 5,000 to 6,000 steps in here. Head up. That's better. And you walk with attitude. Good job. Yeah, it's nice to see breaking up the walking with a little bit of jogging. You know what I mean? Even with that, she's going to burn more calories. And it's very good for her cardiovascular system as well. So that's great to see.
While Aoife exercises, Danny's on child-minding duties.
So now, we're going to reverse. You're going to get your workout, okay? The little ways to be able to accumulate those 10,000 steps a day. And importantly, they're involving the family. And children are seeing their parents being involved in healthy behaviours that hopefully they will adapt and take with them during their life.
It's week 6, and Danny is still struggling with quitting smoking.
It's been very tough staying off the cigarettes. I kind of have my times during work, you know, after lunch, after tea break, where I would go and have a cigarette. So I've replaced the cigarettes with some grapes, which is good. You know, it kind of, you know, takes your mind off and it's something else to have.
Concerned that Danny might slip back into old habits, Nina visits him to find out how he's coping.
So Danny, I came to see you today because I heard that you're having a bit of difficulty with quitting cigarettes. And I know you've quit them, but you're really struggling. What is the thing you're finding hardest about it, Danny?
I'm using the patches at the minute, but it doesn't seem to be reducing my cravings.
First of all, I think you need to give yourself credit. You have stayed off cigarettes, you haven't relapsed. And just because you're craving them doesn't mean you're failing, Danny. You know, it's a normal emotion, and when you get that mad craving, talk to yourself like, this is my mind playing tricks with me, this is my mind making me feel I need this, I don't need this. And the other thing is then how you cope with your cravings, remembering that cravings only last a certain amount of time, so distraction is important. Some of the skills that some of the hypnotists use is that they get people to do deep breathing, because they say part of the action of smoking is to inhale deeply. And that if you actually do that particular exercise without the cigarette, you can still get some of the benefits. So even try the deep breathing and see how you go. But I just want to reinforce how well you've done. You know, you're 6 weeks off cigarettes, and there were so many parts of your life that you associated with smoking, Danny. So, you know, I think you're doing really well, and I think you need to stop being hard on yourself. Okay?
Doctor's orders also included getting off screens and getting out for family walks.
It's fantastic at the weekend, the things that you hear the kids say, and you don't even realise that I haven't heard her talk as much about whatever it is that's going on in their lives as much when we're just having a stroll, you know, through the woods. It's been brilliant for all of us, and I can see the benefit in them.
And Danny swapped smoking for walking.
I would have went out after lunch and then went to the smokers' corner and joined some of my friends and had a cigarette, but now, while they're off going for their smoke, I'll go out and do my few laps, and then that'll help me keep my mind off it. When I met the doctors first, I think my average step count was 3,000, which is kind of frightening because I've more than trebled it in the past number of weeks, and it actually hasn't been that difficult to do that, just walking a little bit more, you know, thinking instead of jumping in a taxi, actually walking. So it's actually been not as difficult as I thought it might have been. I'm kind of a little bit embarrassed that I wasn't doing it before now.
Coming up, Danny is determined to prove himself. And will the Currans give in to temptation?
Ladies, can I interest you in a sample of our bogland brownies?
Former treat fiends, the Currans, have been following doctors' orders to change their lifestyles. They've cut out treats and fizzy drinks for 8 weeks. Now it's time to see if they'll give in to temptation. The family are on a day out, and the cafe the Currans are visiting has been rigged with secret cameras to observe how the family will do when faced with delicious brownies. Dr. Nina organises an undercover temptation test to observe their commitment to the plan.
So George, the plan today is that you are going to tempt the Currans with some brownies. So these are bogland brownies that you are giving out samples of to see do people like them. So you are going to go out and offer them a taste, and we'll see, will they be tempted?
Okay.
The temptation test is an important part of the 8-week plan, because remember, the temptation is everywhere. So when you go out to shops, there's going to be sweets and crisps and biscuits. People are going to offer you things, and you have to learn to say no and make good choices.
One white or brown bread? Brown, please.
Nina observes everything from her hiding place.
Anything else?
Nothing's gone.
They look like they're buying water, which is great. So everybody got water, and there's no crisps or anything on the table, so that's good. And I have to say there's certainly lots of temptation there. There are lots of fizzy drinks. There's sweets, there's crisps, there's chocolate. So they're doing well. But the real temptation is going to be when something is actually offered and it's free and someone's encouraging them to take it. Obviously, I hope they don't, because they've done so well so far. I'd hate to see them fall down, but we'll see. Oh, look, that's brilliant. Aoife is actually taking the crisps off her plate and giving them to Emily. Now, obviously, I know Emily probably shouldn't be eating crisps, but Aoife definitely shouldn't. So I'm actually really impressed that she didn't even eat the few crisps on her plate. So we're going to send George out now in a minute to offer them some dessert. Good luck, George.
Thanks. How you doing, guys? Would you like to sample some Bogland brownies? Very nice, there you go.
So George has gone to the table beside them and he's handing out free brownies.
Will the Currans be able to resist the temptation of brownies? The moment of truth has arrived.
Guys, can I interest you in a sample of our Bogland brownies?
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh,
I'd love to, but no, thank you.
Guys, are you sure, no?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
That's fantastic. They didn't even flinch. They said no straight away. Even the kids straight away said no. It shows a lot of resolve, a lot of willpower. And yeah, I'm really impressed with them.
It's time for Nina to come clean with the Currans.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. You didn't expect to see me here, did you? No. Well, this was your temptation test, and I'm really impressed. Well done. And I was so impressed with the girls, and the brownies came straight away, and so polite. They said, no, thank you, straight away. There was so much temptation here. There were, you know, at the checkout, there were crisps, there were lollipops, there's all kinds of drinks. They didn't even ask for any, which I thought was incredible, so well done. Yeah.
The kids are good. Like, I think we've just broken a really bad habit that, in fairness, we got them into, so we were responsible to get them out of it, and I'm hoping we have most of the time.
As the 8 weeks draw to a close, the family return to DCU to see if they've turned their lives around.
Hopefully they will realise after they got the results in the studio the last day that they needed to make changes. So hopefully we'll see improvements now when we test them today.
They've been training very, very hard. Like, every single day, it's very constant. They're always on the treadmill doing the workout. It's just, yeah, it's a massive change in their lives.
There are 3 things I'm looking for with Danny. I want to see a drop in his body weight. I want to see an improvement in his cardiovascular fitness, but most importantly, that he has stopped smoking and he has sustained that. That's great, Aoife.
Even though Aoife has to walk due to an old hip injury, she gives it her all, as the incline is increased from 8 weeks ago.
That's good job, Danny. That's great work. Danny, no regrets, Danny, no regrets. Give me 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You grab on there, Danny. Okay, well done. Well done.
Stand up,
Keep pushing it, Aoife. That's good.
Danny's test over, Aoife is still going strong.
Obviously, Aoife is curtailed by her hip injury, so her protocol today involved walking up a hill on the treadmill. And again, an enormous effort. Well, the last minute makes a huge difference. That's good. That's good. No, we're still going on. That's good. Come on, Aoife. 2 more seconds. We're on. Brilliant work.
I gave it everything I had today. I didn't want to have any regrets.
Well done.
With the final fitness assessments behind them, the Currans have returned to the consultation room.
It was so important that the Currans heeded the advice we gave them because, you know, I think they forgot how young they actually were. They're, you know, both in their 30s, Eva's in her mid-30s, and to have had fatty liver at that age, for someone who doesn't even drink alcohol, I have to say it was shocking.
Dr. Sinead begins with the blood results.
So I want to start with you, Aoife. The thing that really concerned a lot of us here, all of us in fact, was that in your mid-30s on an ultrasound scan you had fatty liver. So it was quite shocking, to be honest, for someone so young. So when we repeated your bloods, I looked again at those liver enzymes and they're completely normal now. So
Really?
Just goes to show, 8 weeks.
That's brilliant. So I suppose one of the most difficult things we asked you to do was to quit smoking. And Danny, you had been smoking for over 20 years. So the first thing I want to say is well done, okay, Aoife. I know that you felt the benefits because you've needed your inhaler less, is that right?
Yeah, a lot less, yeah.
It is the single best thing you could do for your health, so just remember that, okay? Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
Really.
Thanks.
Okay.
Niall has the results from DCU.
Aoife and Danny, 8 weeks ago, both of you were really couch potatoes and your fitness levels were just deteriorating. And I've been tracking your fitness monitors over the past 8 weeks. And boy, have I been impressed. So let's see what the results tell us. And we'll start with you, Aoife. If you take a look at the screen, you can see that your BMI has now changed to 30, which is a phenomenal improvement. And very importantly, you've dropped your body fat by a substantial 7%, which means you've increased your muscle and you've decreased the amount of fat. And for a woman, that's extremely important, particularly as you age, that you maintain your muscle mass. In relation to your body weight, you have lost 14 kilograms, 2 stone. You have reduced your risk for metabolic diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, orthopedic problems, even cancers. So well done.
Thank you.
So Danny, if you take a look at the screen, your BMI has now changed to 26. Now that's quite a substantial improvement. And identical to Aoife, you have also lost 14 kilograms, or 2 stone. So if we take a look at your fitness, and we'll start with you, Aoife. At the beginning, you were actually ranked as poor. You're now in the top 40%, well above average. Danny, your fitness levels were classified as fair. Okay. And again, with the effort that you have put in, you are now in the top 20%. Brilliant. Excellent for your age.
Brilliant.
Congratulations. Fantastic achievement.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
8 weeks ago, Aoife was upset to hear that Jack was iron deficient. Have the changes made a difference?
It was something that I think upset you, Aoife, and was quite shocking to learn that he was iron deficient.
Yeah.
And I think you hadn't expected that.
No.
And we rechecked his bloods, and I can tell you now he's not iron deficient anymore. So I think that's going to be hugely beneficial to him.
Yeah.
Well done, you've corrected that nicely.
Brilliant.
Aoife and Danny, you have dramatically changed your habits, and we can see that in the bloods. The other thing that we discussed were the habits that you formed and how you were passing those on to the children. And you've changed those so much, and that is going to have such a beneficial impact on them as they get older. So a huge well done from me on being fantastic role models for your children.
Thank you.
The children joined Danny and Aoife in the consultation room.
Oh, Jack. You know, initially, Danny and Aoife, you admitted that you were really enabling each other and your family in bad habits.
Yeah.
But you're now leading your whole family to a healthy lifestyle, to a healthy future. And we just want to say, keep it up, and you should all be really, really proud of yourselves. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
They have completely overhauled their lives, and they didn't only quit smoking, they also overhauled their diets, increased their exercise, and did all that while still being very busy parents of 4 children. So I have to give them credit for what they've done.
Jack, well done.
I'm so glad we did this. Like, it's been hugely educational for us. I think we've learned a lot, that it would be almost difficult to go back. I wouldn't want to go back. So it's one of the best things we've ever done, I think.
All aboard!
The Currans are enjoying their new lifestyle on a day out and have had time to reflect on the change in the family.
Since we've kind of started this, we're more into outdoors, no matter what the weather. So it's a huge change. It's brilliant.
I never had a horse before.
Did you not?
No.
Like, the biggest thing when you feel like you have a mountain to climb, like we now have a decent amount of weight to lose, it's easier to ignore it because you just feel it's too big. So this forced me to look at myself, to be accountable for what I was doing.
It's a really big change. They're not smoking anymore, and their diet is a lot better as well. Being very active, and back then we would have maybe walked up to the shopping centre and maybe just got some food. But now it's a lot better now.